So after doing the Tour of Britannia 10-day stage race, I thought I'd take this opportunity to jump on another one. This is an 8-day tour, 8 stages over 9 days, starting with an individual time trial today. This one is organised by the guys over at TugaZ in Portugal, so I thought I'd give this a try. Thanks for watching this video, let's get on with it. So here we are in the race pens for this one, the start of the TugaZ Tour, starting with an individual time trial. Mass start on this one, so all categories of riders are all mixed in, so there's no way of knowing who you're racing against or who's in the category you're racing in on this one. So it's just an out and out mass start. 162 riders for this one. Not a course that I've ridden before, the Bologna TT circuit. It's 5 miles out, turn around at the top and 5 miles back basically. That's the route. I know it's got a long climb in it, with most of it is at 10% or more. So that's one to be mindful of as we get into this one. As you can see, most of us are riding time trial bikes, so there is no draft benefit in this one. I do notice later on there's a few people on road bikes, but as this is a mass start, not everybody in this event is actually racing within the TugaZ Tour series. Some are just jumping on it as it is an open Zwift event as well, but they won't be in the results and standings of the actual tour. So I've sped this one up. My plan today is to try and hold around 300 watts average for the whole event, and hopefully get this done within under half an hour as my target. Probably going to be looking at around sort of 3.6, 3.7 watts per kilo. It's just really a case of holding my own and then trying to dig deep on the hill climb, because I know it's going to be a long drag up. But I find these are quite good events to actually test yourself. So I'm sort of trying to hold the 300 watts. That's the key for this one, and see how we get on. So we're just coming up to 5 minutes into this race already, just over 2 miles we've done. I've averaged 316 watts at the moment. I've noticed that I'm having heart rate issues again. I did change the battery in it the other day after someone spotted on the WTRL that my heart rate was reading quite low initially. You can see that I've had a little play with it. What I've noticed, I think I've probably put my heart rate monitor too high, and it's just not registering properly. So I've wiggled it down a little bit, and as you can see straight away, my heart rate's just soared up to the 160s, which is where it should be because I'm working hard at the moment. So it's just a little learning point for me that I need to make sure my heart rate's lower down when I'm racing. I've always sort of tend to warn it quite high because it's more comfortable, but I'm having issues with it reading correctly, so I'm going to need to move it properly. But anyway, it's registering properly now, so my heart rate isn't at 110, whatever it was reading earlier. I'm actually putting some effort in. So here we are, 8 minutes into this one, 3.5 miles done, and as you can see by the heads up display that we're about to get to the bottom of this climb. So as you can see, it starts off with some 3%, 4% gradients. It's going to go into that blue segment, which is a slight downhill recovery point, and then we're straight into the climb, which is going to be just over a mile in length, if not a little bit more. And I'm going to have to dig deep. So entering this one in about 35th place as we get onto the 10% grades straight away. So as we come into 10 minutes into this race, my average power is at 309 watts, quite happy with that. Heart rate around 165, but just standing on the pedals here and still aiming to try and achieve that 300 watts and maintain it as we got this climb, 13% gradient now as we're coming up alongside the buildings here. Dropped a few places, but like I said to you earlier on, it's hard to know who's racing in your group or in your category, because this is using the new racing scores on Zwift. So the older categories A, B, C and D have gone. Obviously they've gone to the new scoring numbers, but basically I'm a category B rider in Zwift, and I entered the category B pen. So see what the results do later on, but at the moment I'm quite happy that I'm just holding my watts. Position on the screen, 41st place. That's just in my head. That's just something that I don't want to drop too far. Obviously it doesn't make a lot of difference in the final results, because there's a lot of A riders that have massively gone off the front, and you'll see some of them shortly start the descent and come back down past us the other way. So just sitting in, hold the watts and just dig deep when we get to some of these bigger sections. So this is where it ramps up. Let's take this corner, 15% seen there, 13% now. So just ramped up through that corner. I did actually see 20% gradient at one point then as well, but yeah, 15-16% gradients now. Still putting in the work, still holding the watts on this one. If I can get to 20 minutes and have an average of about 300 watts, I'll be on target for what I wanted, because then I should be able to start the descent. So still looking good, still working hard, heart rate's up where it should be and recording properly now, and just digging deep to stay on the figures and keep the pedals turning. So the end is in sight now, as you can see on the heads up display, that when we get to that blue bit at the top, that's the turnaround point before we start the descent. Some of the faster riders are starting their descents already, as you can see them whizzing down past us. Again, they're probably all the category A riders that have really gone in off the front on this one and really putting in their efforts. I'm happy at the moment. I'm sticking to my plan. If I can get to the top of this one on average 300 watts, I'll be happy, and then I just need to maintain it as we come back down. Final 10% now, just kicking in through that gradient, get to the top, turn round and start the descent. So there's the banner for the top of the climb, go through that, and it literally is a quick turnaround here and then start the descent. Not sure what to do on this descent within the race. Obviously you can't really aero tuck on a TT bike, but I just decided to get on the pedals a little bit in a minute. I've taken a breather here and now I'm back on the pedals. Let's get the speed up and hopefully I can just recover and get down this. So I worked out actually pedaling didn't make a lot of difference to me. I've done a few like bursts of efforts and pushed on down, but doing 60, 63, there's an achievement unlocked, breaking the 100 kilometers an hour. But yeah, literally this descent, not having to work, just getting a rest in. Obviously my watts has now dropped under the 300 watts average, but I expected that as I'm not really pedaling down here. And then when we get back on the flats, we'll be back on the pedals for the final 3 miles or so back into the finish. So still digging deep now, 23 minutes into this one, just over 2 miles left to go. Figures are still around that 300 watts average mark, which is like what I was aiming for at the beginning of this event. That hill's obviously taking it out of me quite a bit, and I'm staying on the pedals now, just hopefully staying around the 40th place. If I can finish around that overall out of 162, that I'll be happy with that, with the mixed categories. And I'll find out later on how I got on in my individual race. So we've just under a mile to go now. The only thing that I can use is the map up in the top right hand picture. The blue dot is a different category, but all the green dots on the screen in that map are category B riders within Zwift. So I know these people that are around me at the moment, the green dots, are in the same category as me for this race, for this time trial. So I just want to try and hold my own with them and battle and take whatever places and seconds I can from these. It's difficult, but that's all the only gauge I've got. So I'm just trying to hold the wheels here for the finish line. Obviously getting no draft benefit from sitting behind anybody. So it's just a case of pedaling it out all the way to the line. So I've lost a few more places there, just trying to gain back whatever I can down into 42nd and take the finish line. Well, there you go then, just cooling down after that individual time trial. Thanks for watching this video. Please click that like button, click that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.